Okay, we are recording live.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for checking in. Our guest today is the manager of special events at Covenant House Vancouver. Covenant House Vancouver's purpose is to serve all homeless youth and give them a safe place to call home. Please welcome Kim Wing. Kim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on your show, on your podcast. I'm very excited to be here this morning.
Oh,
Thank you
thanks,
so much
Kim.
for coming.
Yeah, no, thanks, Kim. Thanks so much. It's just fantastic to have you on. Finally, we're able to rope you down because you're so busy. It's Covenant House is always so busy, and it's just great what you guys do for the youth. And but before we start, what we do here on our show is we do something called Two Truths and a Lie. And so we've got some little things from Kim here, and Devin and I have to guess which. So I've actually got them here, so I'll read them off. And we have to guess which is the lie. So, number one, I used to live in the Yukon. Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
That's interesting. Never seen her dog sledding or anything. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that one. Another one here. I have a selfie with Ryan Reynolds on my phone.
Oh, that's
okay.
dope.
Well, maybe we'll have to prove that one with their phone. Number three. Oh, God. I used to cheerlead competitively.
Oh,
man.
Okay.
What do you think, Dev?
I can see the Ryan Reynolds thing because I think he's a big sponsor or advocate for
Covenant House. Yeah,
Covenant House,
he's a
right?
big supporter. Yeah,
Big
that's
supporter,
right.
big supporter.
Uh-huh.
Cheerleader. I can see the cheerleader. I can also see living in the Yukon, but
Yeah,
let's
I
go living in
know.
the Yukon. Let's go with number one, Nudge. We're going with number one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with living in the Yukon too,
Nice.
as well. Yeah.
All right.
How
do we do?
So yeah, how do we
So
do?
drum roll is that I don't have a selfie with Ryan Reynolds.
It. I was betting on that one.
I thought that was a given. Because he's such a great supporter of Covenant House.
He is. We are so lucky. He's done so much for us, and he did our fall matching campaign as well, and made a significant contribution. And it was wonderful. I didn't personally get to work with him, but our team did, and has nothing but really kind words. He's the nicest, most genuine person, and apparently answers all his own emails. And yeah, that's a little bit of wishful thinking. I think that
he's pretty funny guy. Like he's got that great sense of humor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one though. You definitely tricked us because
it
was a possibility.
Yeah, because I saw there's all the pictures of him and Blake Lively, his wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing so much for Covenant House, and I thought, okay, well, that one I'm gonna stroke that one off. But so you did live in the Yukon, and the cheerleader. I could kind of see the cheerleader thing, the way you're built and everything. That you got that great, But the Yukon, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I lived there seasonally for a number of years. I went up there one year with my girlfriend and fell in love with the place. And yeah, it's beautiful up there. It's 24-hour daylight in the summers. It's spectacular.
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah. And the nature it's just gorgeous. Everybody should travel up to the Yukon at some point in time in their lives. And lots of wildlife and outdoor things to do. And the people there are just the most kind and genuine people.
Yeah. A good buddy of mine, when just out of high school, he went up to the Yukon, lived up there, and he worked on the Alaska Highway that they were building for years. He was a surveyor. He used to come back and tell me these just amazing stories about the Yukon. You got to go. I've still never been to the Yukon, which is, that's crazy. Been to Alaska, but I haven't been to the Yukon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, put it on your bucket list.
I know. So what brought you? Because you guys do incredible things, and the people that work at Covenant House, you have the best team, the most incredible people. Every time I come down there, I'm blown away with how the energy is so good. So what brought you to, what made you think I'm going to go work with these guys and do what? There must have been something that.
I started at Covenant House as a temp. So during the fall and winter seasons, they bring on a bunch of additional people to help with the volume, because there are so many amazing supporters at Covenant House, and we're 95% privately funded. And every year we have, I think, 50,000 donors who.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And so a big chunk of that comes in between October and December. And so I started there as a temp, as one of those people that came in to help with the volume of donations. And I just fell in love with the culture of Covenant House. As you said, everybody is so wonderful. And I think it really stems from everyone genuinely having a passion for helping the youth at Covenant House. And all the decisions that are made at Covenant House are made with the youth in mind first. So what's best for the youth who come to Covenant House. And just from there, you have all these people who are working towards the same goal, and just builds this culture of care and compassion, and of just wanting to be there every single day. I love my job, and I feel so lucky to say that, and to get up and to do what I do every day.
Wow. And I guess I should step back a little bit here. Maybe just want to tell people out here exactly what Covenant House is and what you guys do for at-risk youth.
Absolutely. So we provide programs and services for youth age 16 until their 25th birthday. And we have a wraparound service model where we provide things from drop-in space. We have an outreach team who goes out onto the streets and meets the youth where they are in crisis, and builds connections with our youth, and establishes trust with youth who are on the streets. And then hopefully youth will come and access our drop-in service and get a hot meal, a hot shower, clothing. They can do laundry in our facilities. Then we have our crisis program, which a youth can stay for as long as they want. So we have youth workers and social workers, mental health programs, counselors, and then we have also our long-term transitional housing program, where youth come and they have little bachelor-style apartments, and really they're going through a program where they start off more supported, and as they go through the program, they become more independent, and they're learning life skills like budgeting and cooking and employment skills. And the idea is that eventually they're able to live independently after they leave Covenant House.
Yeah, it's such an incredible program, and the youth that come there, because I've been fortunate to be involved in some of your fundraising events, and to hear the stories, because it must be so brave for the youth to get up and actually talk to a group of like 60 people in a room, and they do it. There'll be 3 or 4 of them, and they'll share their life story, and every time I'm just choked up, and it's extremely emotional to hear the stories of where they came from, and what the predicament was that forced them onto the streets, and when you reflect on that, it could be any one of us. If we were born into that, it could be Devin, it could be any of us that were in that situation. And it's just heart-wrenching to see where they come from, but then to see them there and have the guts to get up and share the story, and to say, share their experience of how Covenant House has been able to help them, and get them off the street, get them into a safe place, and everything that you said. It's just it's such an incredible program.
Do you find that there's some common, reoccurring thing that why youth are ending up in the situations they are? Or is there kind of a whole slew of different things and outcomes?
Well, each youth is very unique. We always work with youth in a one size fits one model, and they all have their stories. But oftentimes, youth are in a situation through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
And so when they come to us, they find a safe space, and we help them without judgment, and really just providing that unconditional love and absolute respect for every youth that comes to Covenant House. We know that we see a lot of youth who have aged out of the foster care system.
Okay, right.
So some of youth come from there. We have youth who are refugees here, and then they come to Covenant House for support. So really, it runs a whole spectrum of who our youth are.
Right. And I guess these days, I mean, there's quite the spotlight on Indigenous youth and people and what's going on here in Canada and reconciliation. Is there, I mean, I don't know what the percentage, and I don't know if you can say or not, but I mean, there probably is a high percentage of Indigenous kids that come through the system too. Hey?
Absolutely. I don't really have concrete numbers, which I could potentially find for you, but anecdotally, it's a disproportionate number based on the number of Indigenous people within the entire population versus the percentage of Indigenous youth who find themselves at Covenant House. It's definitely a higher percentage. So we do see that.
Yeah, and then you, I mean, you yourself, you work on these special projects for fundraising for Covenant House, and one of them is this sleep out that you do, and it's a really incredible event. It gives people just a tiny sliver of what the youth go through living on the streets. And I've been fortunate. I was challenged by a friend of mine, Praveen Varshney, and David Ash. So they're all big supporters of Covenant House, to come out and sleep in an alleyway in downtown Vancouver for one night in November, about 6 or 7 years ago. And we raised some money, and the one thing that I really felt after the event, after being in a sleeping bag, a thin little sleeping bag on a piece of cardboard out in November and kind of a bit of a rainy night, and waking up in the morning, I was so fogged out and I couldn't think the next day at all. And that's one day for me. These kids are there month after month after month, living in these horrific conditions, and your cognitive ability just, I mean, after one night depletes down to 30% or whatever it is. It's just I don't know how anybody could live like that. But actually, I've got some things here. I wonder I'm going to screen share a couple of photographs of the event for you. Nice. Here we go. So there's Kim. So yeah, for our listeners, we have a couple of slides up here, and there's Kim's incredible because we sleep, we sleep in a sleeping bag in the alleyway, but Kim and her crew, they're up pretty much all night, making sure that we're okay, making sure that nothing's going to happen to us in the alleyway, because there's things going on, and there's sirens, and there's ambulances tearing around at night, and there's more noise. It seems like there's more noise at 4 a.m. downtown than there is in the middle of the day, And so this is a photograph of Kim in a sleeping bag, throwing out a big thank you to all the donors. And I guess during this past year, during COVID, it's been an extremely, different challenge, right? Because you're dealing with, the homelessness, you're dealing with COVID-19. And then in Vancouver, we're dealing with this horrific opioid crisis as well. So it must have been an extremely difficult year for you guys and the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the opioid crisis really affect the youth at Covenant House. And on top of that, with the pandemic and the housing crisis, it's been a tough year, definitely.
Yeah.
The one word that I keep thinking about, and that's a recurring theme, is how resilient youth are.
Yeah. They really they really are. And as I said earlier, for them to come into to even step in the door is a huge breakthrough for them. Because you hear their stories, and I see why they would not trust another human being, or especially another adult. But to come in and then to be able to stand up or sit and address a bunch of people like us, 60 people, and share their stories, they've come so far, and that must be extremely, extremely difficult. And so here's a photo of Praveen, Varshni, and David Ash, and this is the very first one I did 6 or 7 years ago, with Praveen in the middle. We looks like we rescued him, which probably did in the morning. And hats off to Praveen for getting us going and getting us challenged to come out and raise some funds for Covenant House. This isn't me, but this is a photograph of. It does look like me, but I don't think it is. So yeah, we get a piece of cardboard, thin piece of cardboard, and we get a little summer kitty sleeping bag, and we're sleeping in the alleyway behind Covenant House for the evening, and it's quite a. Actually, Reiko, my wife, Dev's mom, came. She came once or twice.
Yeah, I think she's done it several times.
Yeah, she has. She done it a few times, and then she did the summer one too. But it was really interesting because there's one thing that if anybody's going to volunteer, which I highly encourage people to volunteer and do these sleep outs, it really does put a different perspective on things, and it really does change your life as well. Is that when you do go out, there's a dumpster beside the alleyway. You think you're protected up against the dumpster from other things. Well, at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's when all the rats and everything scurry around out of the dumpster. So do not sleep beside the dumpster. Reiko found that out.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this is another shot of some of the volunteers, incredible people. And you guys do so many different types of sleep outs, don't you? You do. I mean, this is the one that I take part in November. There's a mother and daughter one, isn't there? There's all sorts of.
Yeah, absolutely. There's mothers and daughters. We do a Sleep Out Professionals Edition. You do the Sleep Out Executive Edition in November. We're actually coming up on our 10th anniversary of the Sleep Out Executive Edition this coming November.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So 10 years of doing sleep outs.
It's incredible. Yeah. Wow. It's executives from all over Vancouver, and they're great. They challenge their corporations and their staff and all their friends, and it's incredible. I think, I don't know what it was. The numbers blew me away. Like it was like $900,000 raised in one, for the night or something. They're mind-boggling numbers that they're able to pull in. Really.
Oh yeah, last year we raised over $1.1 million
in that one night with that one group.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's when you guys read them, it absolutely floors me that people are so change. Generous, and the people that have been supporting us have been so unbelievably generous. I go out and I ask people to give whatever they can, $5, $10, $25, but the numbers just astound me every time we take part in this. It just blows me how generous people are and how much they care, and just big thank you to everybody that they always give, and it's always the same people. Every year I go back and they give again, and it's really heartwarming to have that. And then this year we had COVID and we couldn't do any of the sleep outs, right?
Yeah, we had virtual sleep outs this year where people slept out in their homes, whether it was outside in their backyards or on their balconies or even in their living room floors. So we still saw a lot of people come and participate, which was amazing, and still raised a lot of funds. And then we were able also to incorporate, I think in your next slide I saw entertainment from you guys.
It was really well done. I was wondering how it was going to work, and so we, all these families across Canada, all these families across Canada did it, and they slept out in their backyards, on their decks, wherever it was, and it was, I thought, oh, okay, that's it. But it was really, really well done. And yeah, Devin and Bianca, his girlfriend, were, they did a little bit of entertainment for the Zoom audience across Canada. So we had so many people on. It was incredible what you guys were able to do. And then, yeah, these guys did you have a fire spinning troupe, hey, Dev?
Twin Flames Entertainment, little plug right there. Shameless plug right there. That's what's on the screen for whoever's listening. It's just a spitting fire. So don't get too excited.
Yeah. No, it was really cool that, and then we all hunkered down and we slept outside, and there's a couple of photographs of you guys. And who's that? I don't know. That's
hey, that's me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's the egghead going on?
I know you got an egghead going on there. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd throw a couple of photographs up here for the people watching on our YouTube channel as well.
So, Kim, other than the Sleepout, what other type of special events do you guys host with Covenant House?
Those are our biggest fundraising events at Covenant House. We tend to do the Sleepouts. It's more aligned with who we are as an organization. We don't have any big galas. The Sleepout, there's no glitz and glam. It's more grassroots. And with the Sleepouts, the ROI is incredible because really, Nigel, you've experienced it. You come to our location, you hear panelist speakers, you get a tour of the space to see where we operate and how we offer programs and services. And then everybody goes outside in our alleyway with a piece of cardboard and a sleeping bag, and they spend the night outside. And through all of our Sleep Out campaigns throughout the year, which we run, like we talked about several of them, we also have a Sleep Out student edition that my colleague runs, and we have high school students and post-secondary students that put on their own sleep outs at schools.
Wow.
So throughout all of the Sleep Out events, we raise about $2 million almost annually. And it's so great to see how many people support the Sleep Out campaigns. And we spend really very little money on place like venues and we were lucky to have entertainment with Devin this year, but normally we don't have too much entertainment in an in-person setting. So the costs are really, really low. And we're essentially have every dollar go towards helping youth.
It's like the perfect structure. Like, you're hitting people, I feel like, right in their heart, and then it's like they're getting super grounded by the fact that I got to do this for one night. This is brutal. Can't even imagine what this could be like. So yeah, no, it's just the perfect little thing.
Yeah, and the idea is that we're not pretending to be homeless at all. And like you said, Nigel, when you did it, you're so foggy the next day, and that's just one night. And that's one night after preparing for the night, and you are going into it healthy, mentally, physically. You've had a meal before going to bed. You have kind of all your layers on, and you're still feeling exhausted and foggy the next morning. So our youth who come to Covenant House, we really try and provide those supports so that they are safe, they are comfortable, they have their mental health supports as well. They have 3 meals a day and snacks, and that we're really taking care of all of their needs, whatever they may be.
Yeah, I know you said safety. There's something that I did not know is that, we walk around the streets of Vancouver and we see kids, they're kind of cuddled up or in corners in the middle of the day, sleeping, and we thought, oh, okay. But I didn't realize that that's the safest time to sleep at night. That's when they're at most risk, because the predators are out, and it's just not safe. So they're basically up all night protecting themselves, and they're trying to get some sleep during the day. And it's this never-ending cycle. And there was a story. I know that one of the attendees, he was living in his car. He had a car, and he was living in his car for a while, and he had his car all taped up at night so people could, but he said at night was just horrific. People trying to get in and breaking into his car, and he, I think, eventually abandoned the car, and then he was on the street, and then it just was one step down, from that, just this spiral. But then for, the Covenant House people to come and, sit and have a chat with them, and eventually gain a little bit of trust, to come in and check out Covenant House, and have these, and then have this young person get up and share his story with us, and share how far he had come with the help of help and guidance, and support, from Covenant House. It was just, it's like I said, it's extremely emotional. Every time I come there and I sit and I hear the stories, it's really hard to keep it together. And after spending a night, out, feeling like those kids would feel, and then we have like a sharing circle in the underground parking lot in the morning, and hearing people's experience. And you hear, we hear experience from CEOs of big corporations as well that have never done anything like this, and just the emotion coming out. It's really, really humbling to experience. And so thank you for making this available to us. And it's an incredible program, and it's something that, I've always struggled with. I want to give back and I want to help, but I don't know what to do, and I don't have time. This is one day, one evening, and for people to volunteer and come and help raise a little bit of money and come and experience this. If people are looking for somewhere, to help or to volunteer, it's giving money is fantastic, and it's great, but to go and give of yourself and help, raise awareness, it's incredible experience. So thank you for making that available. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Hopefully maybe you and Praveen and David, the original three there, will come back in November for our 10th anniversary to participate.
Well, you know what? That's a challenge. We just challenged them right now, because I'll be there. I'll be there. It's a challenge to Dave and Praveen.
There you go.
You guys are hearing this. I'm going to send this to you. So there we go.
That's fantastic.
Get you back out. Yeah, they both give quite a bit, but to get them back out on the street, that would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an experiential event, and really the idea is that we're doing this in solidarity with the youth, but also doing this to raise funds so that Covenant House is available 24/7, so that youth never have to experience that, right? That Covenant House is there so that if they're at risk of, or they're experiencing homelessness, that they have a safe place to go, where the doors are open 24/7, and they don't have to spend a single night on the street. That's the hopes. And so we're only able to do that because of you, Nigel, and you, Devin, and spreading the word, talking about your Sleepout experience, raising that awareness, and raising the crucial funds that come along with those conversations that you're having with your network. So it's
and you guys have a new building. It was incredible, because I was used to going to the old building because you have two locations. One's on Seymour, the other one's down on, is it Pender? Down by yeah. But then, so I came when I'd missed 1 year, and I came down looking for the building, and there was just a big hole in the ground. I'm like, oh no, what's happened to the building? It was across the street. There was this new, beautiful building, and that was your new, and it was, I was blown away by the new building and the facilities that you now have there to offer to the youth, and the extra space, and that was all because of, the generous support of all your donors. So thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, and soon they'll be building number 3. So
wow, there we go.
Nice.
I think the building should be completed next year at some point in time, if everything's on time. So we'll be expanding our services by about 70%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, the need is there in the community, and it's really great that we're able to, like you said, with the support of the community, with all of our incredible donors, that we're able to build this third building, and we'll have space like an educational space, which we don't currently have. We'll have a music room, like we do therapy, and so we'll have space for that as well. Yeah, it's really great and exciting.
Wow. And Covenant House, like we're talking about Covenant House Vancouver, but you're all across North America.
We are, yeah.
Right. So they're in almost every city in North America. I don't know how many, but there's a lot. So and our listeners are from all over North America. And you don't have any locations in the UK or anything, do you?
Not in the UK, no.
Not in the UK, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but in North America, so yeah, this is a big challenge to all of our friends and all of our listeners in North America to, check out, go knock on the door, check out Covenant House, and hopefully maybe get involved in one of these incredible, sleep outs and fundraising events, because, our youth are, they need your help, and it changes their lives, but it also, it really changes your life as well. So yeah, so get out and support these guys. Yeah. So yeah, Kim, any other things you want to bring up here that we haven't chatted about yet?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for not only, having me on your podcast today, but thank you for being such long-time supporters of Covenant House. I know, Nigel, you've been a part of Sleepout's 6-7 years now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It's been a long time, and you've raised so much money for Covenant House. So you've helped so many youth. Every day we have over 100 youth who come to Covenant House for help, and we're able to do that because of you and all of your supporters who support your Sleep Out. But
all these people, it's all, like they say, it takes a village, right? It's all these incredible people that are helping, and then it started with Praveen and Dave challenging me, and then I've challenged people. It's just this trickle down effect, and it's this amazing, great ball of energy of people giving. And so yeah,
absolutely. And so we're so grateful. So thank you.
We're grateful to be able to be part of it. So yeah, thanks. So there goes a cat.
Well, I think that seems like a good place to wrap it up. If you would like to know more about Kim and Covenant House and the Sleep Outs, we'll put the links in the description. Definitely check it out. Definitely check out the Sleep Outs, But thank you so much for being on the show. And do you have any last words for us today?
Just my thanks and gratitude from all of us at Covenant House.
Well, thanks, Kim.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.